Today we're going to show you how to stitch a slimy mackerel as a skip bait for a striped or black marlin. Quite a common rig used around Sydney and Port Stephens on the New South Wales coast here. Very easy rig to stitch. Doesn't take more than a couple of minutes to do each bait. You can knock quite a lot of baits out in a short amount of time and have them prepared prior to going fishing, or do them while you're out there. But the rig we're about to show you is very easy to do, and anybody should be able to pick this up quite quickly. So firstly, you just need a couple of tools here. Basically, we've just got a small bait knife, just a straight sort of strong stitching needle, and just a length of wax thread here. This is a medium wax thread. We've probably got about 2 feet of thread there, basically the length of the mackerel times 2. So we'll start off with the stitch. First thing we want to do is go through the hard plate. If you feel in front of the pectoral fin on your mackerel, it's got quite a hard base. That's going to anchor our first stitch, so we want to go through the center of that and out the other side in the same position. So we're going through the hard plate on this side and out the hard plate on that side. And we pull that stitch right through, take the needle off the thread, and we'll just even out each side so we've got about the same length on each side of the mackerel. Next step, we re-thread our needle. We take it across to the other side of the body and around the gill plates, inserting the needle under the bait's eye, coming out the other side. So that gives us our first stitch across the bottom of the bait. We want to do the same thing with the other end of the thread, but going the opposite way. So we put the needle in where the other thread came out, at the base of the eye socket, and we come out the other side. We'll pull that up tight, and this stitch here will give you a crisscross across the bottom of the gill plates of the mackerel, and that'll actually stitch the gills closed and stop them from spreading out and washing through as the bait's trolling through the water. It's important to have that stitch there, because if you've got water flowing through your bait and it's sort of expanding the cavity, your baits won't last as long, so it's important to get that cross stitch right across the gills. The next step, we take our thread and we go under the chin of the mackerel. You'll see a black line that'll actually split open when you get the needle in there. You want to point the needle right through the center and bring the needle out through the center of the head. And pull that up tight. And take the other end of the thread. We want to go the opposite way, this time going from the top and out through the bottom. Pull that up tight. Before we stitch the bait off, we'll take our knife and we'll just make a small incision, which will act as a little bed for the thread to sit into. Our last stitch here, we tie up the thread just with a simple overhand knot, pull it down tight, and that knot there will rest in front of the bait's nose, and it'll actually hold the mouth shut. Similar to what the gill stitch does, it holds the mouth and the bait and the head all tight and closed up and stops the bait washing out. It helps your bait last longer, and it also helps it stay in one piece. So we tie that off with a second overhand knot just to anchor it. We pull that down tight. And the last step in the rig is just to make a bridle off the front of the bait's nose for you to attach your circle hook to. Now it's important to give yourself a little bit of length between the head of the bait and where the hook rests on this bridle. Around about a finger length, or 2 to 3 inches, is just about ideal. It's important to have that little bit of distance between the hook and the bait. It'll actually allow the fish to swallow the bait down its throat, and as the hook comes back around the mouth, having it separate from the bait will actually give it a better exposure, and it'll find the corner of the jaw a lot cleaner than if it was buried right in the bait itself. So around about 2 to 3 inches off the nose of the mackerel there. Trim off the excess, and there's your bait ready to go. Now it's actually ready to go just like that. You can pre-rig a whole bunch of baits like this and store them in your esky or in your freezer. That's ready to go. All you need to do is just a simple loop to loop. Onto your circle hook, pull him down tight, and you've got a skip bait ready to go.